What's up, everybody? I want to thank y'all for tuning back into another episode of Kicking It with Keith. I got my good friend, Mr. King David here, Joe, and I'm so excited for this because guess what? It's Pride Month. This is the first episode we've done since Pride Month has, come in. So let's go ahead and celebrate each other and celebrate the Pride Month and the Pride culture and stuff like that. We also gonna kind of talk about some shit that we probably can't celebrate so much, but I thought it would be great to get another, homosexual male on here during Pride Month so we can go ahead and get this thing, so y'all can kind of understand our coming out story. So this podcast episode is actually called My Friend. How in the hell are you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I am doing amazing. I want y'all to know, listen, it took everything in my power. I had to sacrifice my firstborn to get this motherfucker in here, but I got him. And you know what? Also, it was worth it. It was worth it because the advice that you gave me yesterday was everything. So I do want to go ahead and just kind of publicly thank you for that because we was able to you gave me some good shit. So before
Port Kings, my brother.
Come on, I do call myself Keith the King, but that was my OnlyFans name. Excuse me. Anyway, all right. So with that being said, I've kind of go ahead and gotten everything going, but I want you to go ahead and let the people know who you are and what you do, so we can go ahead and get into this shit.
Okay, I'm King David, rapper, actor, model. You can also say personality. You might know me from Bitch Let's This, Triangle, Honest Men. You might know me from my music. Album is available on all streaming platforms. Fornication Under Consent of the King. Check me out.
And we gonna drop the link down here for that as well. So, and also, we gonna go make sure that we putting some of his songs on our Kicking It with Keith playlist. Make sure y'all go check that out. I'm gonna drop that link as well. So with that being said, man, I want to go ahead and thank you so much for being my guest on here. I'm super happy because I don't know if y'all know, but I've been fanning out and trying to get this man on here for months, and I finally got him. So I'm going some motherfucking where. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go ahead and just jump into these subjects real quick. So we're going to both discuss both of our coming out experiences. Like I said, the title of this is I was kicked out of the closet, and you can pretty much put two and two together and figure out where the hell I'm going with it. So with that, I do want to know, how old were you when you came out of the closet?
I was 17.
Oh, you was still on the porch.
I was still on the porch.
Okay. So was it a choice, or were you outed?
It was a combination. So
okay,
I have one of my sisters. Remember BGC?
You know what? I've just recently, a few people have been bringing it up to me. I was never on it, but yeah, people have been kind of reminding me of it.
I had found it through MySpace. I saw the watermark in the corner of somebody's MySpace picture. So I searched it and then realized, mind you, this is 2006. So the idea of a free dating app or site, I ain't know nothing about that. So I made one anyway. One of my sisters was in college at the time. One of her girlfriends told her about BGC, said to go make sure, that whole females being obsessed with DL-ness. So they was going to see if any of their niggas was on there, and they done found me. So they told my dad. And then my dad told my mom.
So it was a domino. Hold on real quick. No, you can still talk. I just got to turn this light down.
I denied it for a minute, but then eventually I ended up confessing. But it's a bigger story than that for why. But I was on some Gemini rebellion. Y'all not gonna control me, so here, take this.
So how old are you now?
I am 31.
Okay. Oh, we're the same age, friend. Yo. Well, I'm sitting here calling you friend. Don't even know how old you are. You see, that's how loosely niggas be using that term nowadays. We take a picture together, now we friends, but technically, we in a video together, so we like besties. Anyway,
I receive it. I take it as a positive vibe if you say friend.
Or 100%. Yeah, 100%. No, I'm not saying hun or sweetie. If you start saying some shit like that, then you be like, okay. What's really up for real? All right, so I just on my particular side, I officially came out of the closet when I was, I want to say 22, 23, right? And I'm not gonna lie to you. What kind of happened with me was when I was 16, 17, somewhere in there. My ex-girlfriend, she got sent off to boot camp or some shit by her parents. And I had this friend, who, we was friends. and we was friending, and that friend was friending. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever. But basically, we had a mutual friend who was my cousin. I was really close with my cousin, and he was really close with him. So we felt comfortable to be like, hey, this is what's going on. We know it's not typical, whatever, but this is just what it is. When that happened, he took it upon himself, and I come from a small town, so where everybody knows everybody. So when he found that out, he took it upon himself to just tell everybody that he could think to tell. And I'm not gonna say I'm a like popular like celebrity back home, but I'm definitely well known. And it didn't take much time at all for it to hit like wildfire.
Yeah.
I denied it every step of the goddamn way. Every step of the way. Man, I don't know nothing about that. I wouldn't do no shit like that. I was doing shit like that, y'all. I was doing it. I was liking it too. I was really liking that shit. I was really liking it.
All right, so I said I wanted to revisit what I said because I
Okay.
want to give you the other half of my coming out. I told you the family version, and I mentioned that I come from a hood family. My parents were the first generation to get us to the suburbs.
Well, hold on, because that's actually one of the questions, though. That's
Okay,
actually one of
all
the
right, so I
questions.
won't go too
So
far into that.
yeah,
But
okay. So I'm glad I didn't hear that.
okay, you ain't hear nothing. So boom. So now during the summer of 2007, me going from 11th grade into 12th grade, I meet gay people. I was
Yeah.
some dude that I met off BGC. He was more out. He introduced me to some people, asked me to come to a party. I ended up showing up. Now, from that experience, when I get back to school, I meet this dude. He's in 11th grade, but he just transferred here from Atlanta.
And what grade was you in?
I was now senior.
Okay.
All right. Very cute dude, masculine presenting, whatever. So I'm like, all right, we become homies. I introduce him to all these females I know. He starts dating one of them at some point. However, one day I realized that he was on BGC while we was in the lunchroom.
Okay.
So then I pulled him to the side and I was like, I know what you was on. You 17, you don't have a lot of access to other gay niggas,
Yes.
So I called him on it. He ended up confessing to me. Now we start messing with each other. But everything was cool until he started getting too comfortable before I was there in my growth. So now
So basically, he got on the train before your ass did. Yeah.
We went from we both DL to we in the lunchroom and it's a whole row of seats, my nigga, and you in the seat right next to me, So now my homie's looking over from the other table, like, why they ain't got a seat of space, and stuff start like that started, and your undeveloped self working through your trauma of your sexuality.
Yep.
That'd be too much for you. That'll mess up all your feelings. So
100%.
I basically we gotta chill. Like this ain't it. We gotta chill. Now, the moment I did that, the same nigga who I had introduced to these girls and he dated one of them goes over to the group of girls at lunch the next day and tells them everything. These girls have thought I was straight for the 6 years they done known me. So I get to the cafeteria and I'm a little hot here. I done grown. God wasn't done with me. But I get to the cafeteria and the girls are like, yo, you heard what Shakira been saying? I'm like, what he saying? That nigga said that y'all been going together and you broke up.
I hope y'all listening to this. I hope y'all listening to this because for real, y'all better pay attention because I'm probably gonna have the exact same story to tell y'all asses. Go ahead.
So when I found that shit out, it was such a violation to me that I couldn't even I wasn't even mature enough to say, don't do this in front of all these people. Now, mind you, the same way you from the country and it was close knit, it's the same way the suburbs work. Anything happen in the suburbs, the country, it's talk. It's everybody.
Oh yeah.
Get all the way around. We know everybody by first and last name basis. They talking about David Price was in the cafeteria fighting Shakir because I snacked. When the fuck So now we're out back. It's a whole glass window cafeteria. So the whole cafeteria
obvious. Looking obvious, y'all.
The whole cafeteria
looking obvious as hell, y'all. Y'all pay attention.
They at the window, and then they all asking, "What was that about?" So the word spread, the backstory spread before I can even get in front of it. And at that point, it was what it was. So I spent the rest of the school year rejecting my own friends and sitting at a table by myself so that they couldn't reject me because I was too afraid of what it would feel like for them to all reject me. So that's a whole nother thing. But there you go. There's my coming out story. Yeah, I know. I write a book.
You know what? And I'm trying really hard because I'm trying to not make everything about me, but also with me doing a podcast. Because at first I started doing interviews, you know what I'm saying? But now with podcasting, I'll try to let one person say something and me say something. And I went to someone's platform one time and they just talked about themselves the entire time. And I was just like, why am I here? You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying not to do that. But to be completely honest with you, that damn near piece by piece, that same thing happened to me. So for me, what it was, even when I was denying everything, all of my, so you said you isolated yourself. For me, like I was like kind of like popular with all the straight guys, whatever. We would go to clubs, go parties. They all stopped fucking with me. When I left high school, I did not have one single straight male friend that I had through any of my school years.
I'm sorry
at all. They basically what happened was that's about 17. When that happened, I remember like having to change my phone number. Like they was like, and I'm not no victim ass nigga. I'm definitely not no victim ass nigga. But this was an instance where I was really starting to get bullied for my sexuality because they were. And if I'm being honest with you, a lot of my bullying came from girls. Because they was like, oh, well, you've been fucking on this girl and that girl and that, and a lot of that came from, oh, we heard you this and we heard you, and it made, honestly, like that's part of the reason why I had to leave my hometown, because I literally felt like I didn't have any of the friends that I grew up like. And even to this day, it's a little hurtful watching all those people who I used to be friends with still be friends with one another, and then I was just kind of like on the outskirts, but like that. Yeah, okay. Sorry, my bad. My bad. That's my bad.
Flowing.
But with your with as far as your dad finding out and stuff like that, and then telling your mom. So as far as like my family goes, and I'm gonna let you tell yours too. But as far as my family goes, I remember when I was in my very first relationship. Like this is after that little thing when I was 16, 17. I was probably like 18, 19, and I was in my very first relationship with a guy. And he had done, we were just really pissed off with each other. And I remember coming into the house and then telling my granny, I was just like, look, granny, I got something to tell you. Well, we was on the porch in the front of the house. And I was like, this is what's going on, blah, blah. She was like, oh, I knew. She was like, when you brought him around here, I'm going to look at him and tell. And then she was like, so we need to go tell your granddaddy. And I was sitting here like, well, hold on. Like, hold on. That's
funny. I got a correction for you when you finish.
Yeah, no, this is amazing. This is actually really good because I'm glad to hear someone else kind of we're relating on a lot of this. So, but yeah, she was like, you need to go tell your granddaddy. And it's so fucked up because I remember just shaking. I was like, okay, well, that escalated really quickly. I was just coming to you as my grandmother, like just because we're best friends. But if I got to go tell him whatever, when I went into the living room and told him, he literally said out of his mouth, so that explains that nasty porno I saw on your computer a couple years ago. I was like, Miss Johnson. It was horrible. And then like I went to a club with my boyfriend. My brother's baby mama was in there with her friends. Saw me and my boyfriend in the corner kissing. Told my brother told my daddy told all my other brothers, my granddaddy, everybody on my daddy's side. And I stopped coming around. Y'all might talk about me. Y'all not gonna talk about me. Okay, now it's your turn. My bad.
Now what I wanted to correct, it was just another thing that we shared that didn't immediately sound like it. So my dad isn't the person who knew first. My dad delivered that piece of information about what my sister said, which I then denied and said, somebody's using my pictures. You know? So he still didn't know. When I eventually came out, it was because I wanted, you know what the latex ball is? You ever hear that? It's a ball.
I think I've seen it.
It's this really big ball that happens in New York every year.
Okay.
Right?
I went to the international men's convention. International leather, the leather men's.
Okay, little different. So latex ball is
a smell like ass. It's horrible.
So are you familiar? You know ballroom.
Yes.
Vogue, right? So the latex ball is involved in that. When I was young, those were the people from Philly that I met first as gays,
Yeah.
a lot of ballroom kids. So there was this event that they were having, a latex ball, that I planned on sneaking to. And my intention was to say I was staying with my sister, who was at the time 21. And
Okay.
I was about to be 18. I was still 17 though. So my lie was, I'm gonna stay at your house. You my sister, so you gonna let me go. I had this whole plan. My mom was one of the strictest parents you could imagine, and she had an only child. So she had no one else to fucking watch for me.
Ooh, I can believe
So
it.
she started being a hard ass, like, you know what, you're not going. Last minute, okay? So I spent the whole day fuming at the fact that I was 17. I thought I was about to have my little magic moment and finally find out what the latex ball was, and now I can't go. And in the fume of
So
me
you
being
was able to you were like that was a under 18 event, or was that something that you kind of had
no,
to sneak into?
it was just ballroom. Ballroom is just ballroom. You're gonna have kids at the bar that's 13, 14 voguing if they
You
so.
know what? I was about to say, are they and they typically probably belong to some type of family too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
House.
okay. I didn't really find out much about ballroom until about 2.5 years ago when I started watching Pose.
I attribute who I've become as an openly gay masculine man, and how I live out loud. I support my counterparts who don't look like me, who might be more feminine, who might be trans this,
Yeah.
trans that, is because from me being placed there at such a young, impressionable age, it showed me all the
Yeah.
access of gayness.
Yes.
How fun it was, how rightful it was for each and every individual to have, how a nigga could be a nigga and he still walk realness with a twist. So when I matured and I had these influences, I had DL friends or this, and they would say, why are you going to that? Why are you doing this? There was a certain pride or stance I took in it to be like,
Right.
we deserve. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've always operated that way, where I never saw myself separate of my community. I felt
Right.
very much part of it, no matter what differences we shared. So
You know what? And I'm so glad you say that. And I have to say this because this has been something that kind of bothers me because I feel like I get it from both ends, right? As being a quote unquote masculine gay man, which I think I'm a flaming homo, but people be like, "Oh, you masculine, and I, whatever." But a lot of people when I was DL, right? A lot of people would say, or they would be like, "Are you gay?" And I'd be like, "No," and they wouldn't believe me. But now, when I tell people that I am gay, it's like they don't believe me. And I'm like, what do I have to lie for? Now, I will say that, maybe my preferences in the bedroom would maybe make somebody question whether or not I'm gay, but I identify 100% as a gay man.
yeah.
100%. So it's crazy because I also feel like I'm super a part of the community, but then that's where you come and you really have to think like there's a fucking hierarchy in this community, and it's not right at all. But the reality of it is that there's a fucking hierarchy, and just for whatever reason, it just so happens that people like you and I, the mask tops or whatever you want to call us, we tend to fall right at the top. I would maybe underneath the white gay man. I don't know, but I feel like obviously there's shame to any other kind of role as being gay. Really,
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, like
I literally I try to live my life as a counteraction to that. One little tip, I don't know how far ahead I'm getting, but
go ahead. No, you good.
within the last year and some change, I had a progress in my family relationship with my sexuality, which created this element of support and this newfound openness and conversation.
Absolutely.
Where I have a brother who's 8 years younger and one who's 14 years younger than me. But we'll be on three-way, and it's like, where your boyfriend at? Get him on the phone, bro. That's a new energy. However, what I was saying as far as what I try to do is live every day as a representation of gayness,
100%.
not from any stereotypical perspective or anything that doesn't feel authentic to me, but my gayness is a part of my authenticity. So when I'm on a FaceTime group call with my brothers and my uncle on there, my 40-something-year-old uncle, 50-something, who's my dad's age and was one of his friends growing up. He ain't my blood uncle, black families.
I got an uncle Bodine, just like that. I'm country.
I don't got no problem with gay men, bro. I'm cool with you. You move a certain way. I just don't like the flamboyant ones. And then I realized I have a mission.
Yep.
Because I can either be the simile to that is I can be the fair-skinned black person with blue eyes who's passable and let you talk about all these black ass niggas around me. Or I can realize that just because my eyes is blue, my mother's eyes are brown.
Yep.
And this is my brother's eyes are brown. We all the same.
Woo!
When you talk about him, you talk about me. Because I don't care who that is. Every gay nigga, masculine, feminine, in between, has a Beyonce moment. We all have a Sweet Dreams moment with them earphones in that motherfucking.
That's my favorite
Beyonce
song. Oh my God. Let me tell you something. One thing I love about moving out of the state where don't nobody know me, I could be singing fucking Beyonce or Mariah Carey at the stoplight. And I don't got to stop. I'd be like, it'll be a sweet dream or a beautiful day, man. That's like, and I look at you in the face and I wave at you while I'm singing. Like, you don't know me, bitch. Fuck you.
Deep. You spoke on something deep because that's a real thing. That's part of, for gay men, I would suggest that every gay man move out of their home environment so they can find out who they are. Because your environment has taught you who to be. It's taught you the norms of showing up as yourself. But when you go somewhere else and you get to decide that for yourself, these people don't know you. You decide who you want to be. Like who I've become in Atlanta is who I've always wanted to be. It is that balance of maintaining who I am and what I see myself as, but all my comfortability to be like, if I'm down the street and some girl like, you fine as shit, not to be afraid to say my sexuality because I'm not feeling held by her ideas of me.
That
like
is 100% bro. On some real shit, I've been saying that for years because back where I'm from, I always said, let me put my do not disturb on, y'all. Sorry. I always said, like, for me, like, where, especially when everybody knows everybody, whatever the case may be, I never felt comfortable at all because I'd be scared that it would get back to my daddy or my uncle or my cousin, whatever. Now I make a joke of it because now a lot of girls, they'll see me. And this is really one of those things where, hold on, sorry, y'all. Oh, shit. I might have to get off her head and then log back on. Hold on. My bad. But that's one of those things, like when I see a girl at this point nowadays, when she even says hi, I'd be like, oh, my boyfriend says hi. You know what I'm saying? Like, just so she can know I'm gay, because I get so many women get so disappointed because they be ready to honestly think that I'm about to shoot my shot. And they be like, hi. I'd be like, oh, my boyfriend says hi. You know, because I'm so happy with where I am, and it's such a weight lifted off my shoulder. But then also, I just need for you to know that, like, you barking up the wrong tree.
Because the self-work is continuous every day. That's why I tell people I'm going to do a series on this, and I'll have you be a part of it at some point.
Please.
I'm going to be starting my own podcast platform. But I want to really touch on this, the very, very unique and underspoken experience of the masculine gay man. All the tropes that we deal with, our coming out process is such a a hamster wheel. Because then every time after you've done your work, after you finally at the gay club, after you finally got a boyfriend, and you post them on your gram, and this and you're that, and you're open, and you're honest, then you get a new job. And then you get some nigga coming over talking about, hey, bro, look at this bitch, her ass fat as shit, bro. And then it's a new chance to put you back in the closet in some way.
Bro.
Or a girl says, you so cute, put you back in the closet some way. Every day, see, once more effeminate people come out and they say I'm who I am, they now present in a way that speaks for them, that there's no question about their sexuality from the rip. But when you don't present that way, people are always trying to put you back in. People are always going to talk about faggots this in front of you and have an opportunity for you to either dishonor your folk or
you say
fuck up.
You say work, but you know where I deal with that the majority at?
Where?
The fucking barbershop.
Barbershop culture is one of those places.
I even got into an argument with a straight guy. Well, it wasn't an argument, but I was just trying to say to him, like, as a gay man coming into a barbershop, I really start to listen and hear how disrespectful black men are to women. Honest to God. And then how they really feel about us, because a lot of times they'll look at me and not think one thing or the other. And I'd be like, somebody was sitting on my face 15 minutes before I came in here. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is one of those things where it's just like you said, it's almost like the person who's passable, who, you know, as a white person, and they come and talk all type of cash money shit to you, and then it's like your duty, it's your obligation to come back and be like, okay, I'm glad you thought that I was about to be one of those pick me's, but let me really tell your ass. So one of the next question pretty much was like, how did your friends and family feel about it? And we've kind of discussed, separately about kind of how my friends and family felt about it. And I think you told us how your
So,
family was with it, but you didn't really necessarily
so
tell us
I
about
don't, I
your.
don't think I really elaborated on either. Basically, remember I told you I didn't come out to my dad first.
Yeah.
I came out to my mother. My mother then told me what she thought was a control mechanism. I was always afraid of my dad growing up. Come from a very alpha father, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm also not no punk ass bitch, and I'm a Gemini. Okay, so now if you put me up against the wall, I'm gonna do the opposite. That's just how I am. It don't matter how scary it is.
Them claws come out.
Right. So she said to me, "You're gonna tell your dad, or I'm gonna tell him."
Make sure y'all.
That's my only
make
two
sure y'all
options.
watching on Instagram. Make sure y'all click the link in my bio and y'all watching on YouTube, because we can see both of us. He's a very handsome man. So y'all make sure y'all go look at him. I know y'all tired of seeing me. Go look at this nice little man. Go ahead. So yeah, your mom was like, "I'm gonna make you tell your daddy."
She said she's gonna make me tell him. So me not being no punk ass bitch, I said I'm gonna tell him myself. So we went out to eat. My dad, I was dragging it. It's about 50 minutes, and he's like, "So what you want to talk to me about?" So now I just counted the 3, and I said, "I'm bisexual." By the way, I identify as bisexual.
I do too.
Yeah. So I was
But
like,
I'm
gay, but I'm actually like, both. But
me too. But like, I'm gay. Like
I agree.
I'm
I've spoken on my own and said that if I straightforwardly give you my pronoun, where I fit in the LGBT, I say gay because I don't want people to mistake my comfort level and my sexuality. Repurpose it with power to just say gay, because that says I'm secure enough about myself that I can use
absolutely. That's perfect. I love how
bisexual.
you said that. I love how you said that.
Clarify each time, but I did want you to understand. But anyway, so I tell my dad, and his response was, "You make adult decisions, then you get adult responses." So that means no car for graduation like the rest of your siblings, and some other things. So that foreseen the next 12 years of my relationship with my father. He was the much less vocal, but more stern. My mother was the vocal, "You're going to hell." And by the way, my dad's a pastor, so that's a whole nother thing.
So you was a PK.
Going to hell, whatever. My mom was very vocal. Me and my mom.
You was a PK. That's why your ass was on
the most accepting. So my mom, by the time I was about 24 years old, became my support base with them, who I was, and she started to be around my boyfriends and friends and know people. But before that, it was like, keep them gays out my house.
What was that turnaround? Because I've heard so many people, and I'm not even gonna say that I've been living out of town for years, you know what I'm saying? So now it's just like I haven't really had the opportunity to bring anybody I've dated around my family for real. But like, what I've heard so many people say, like, initially she was trying to put me out the house and she was telling me I was going,
the turnaround would be standing in myself.
Okay.
And I use that like I would say mine is a real testimony, because this ain't been my life for 30 years. It just became like the last component. I had my mom, but I was still missing my dad and all my support of my siblings.
Right.
So I spent 30 years having to live in the reality that I would never have my dad at my wedding when I got married to a man. I needed to get over it. And that was something that in 2020 I really battled with. I was angry, I was emotional, because I was really going through this space of like, you gotta let this go. It's not gonna happen. And literally 7 months later, my dad was like, "I'm coming to Atlanta. I want to see you and I want to talk." And since then it's just been a 180, but that's just God. But it came from me standing in me, because my dad had every Bible scripture and this and that to stand up against me. But when you live as yourself, see, your parents, our family, our loved ones are afraid of a stereotype they imagine about what it means to be gay. They have no idea what it means for us.
And they're scared of their reputation about you being gay.
Correct. They have ideas. But you are the living action of beyond anyone's imagination. You're the reality.
100%.
This is not a dream. So when you show yourself, you show who you are. See, if my dad raised me, whoever my dad raised me to be as a man, I'm gonna be gay or straight. I'm gonna be the gay version of that same nigga. And it might be a better
man.
We tend to be a little more evolved emotionally, So there's a lot of things like I'm so thankful to be gay. Honestly, at this point, I recognize that if I was the straight version of who I turned out to be, all the good that people see in me when they finally know me, of oh, you're not the way I thought you would be, or you're an intellectual, you're open-hearted, you're this, I wouldn't be that way. Because why I am this dude is because I'm really, y'all don't know who I am. I am a child bullied, didn't see myself as person. And if I was so secure in who I was as a child, I would look like the alpha male that raised me. Get bitches, don't question themselves emotionally, this, that, so secure, know who they are, everything they was taught they believe. I had to be the opposite of that in order to be
my God.
you
You
know?
are your daddy's child.
The only thing that was my sexuality.
You are your daddy's child.
I just didn't know it. I was the black sheep in my brain, at least.
You hear me? You hear me? You are your daddy's child.
I'm my daddy's child.
When I tell you that, I mean that as a compliment, because when I tell you that your ass is on her motherfucking preach, I mean you're on here mother fudging preaching, because you know
what's crazy? I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna keep going, but
go.
That's honestly part of what was my whole thing. My dad has 6 other children, and there's no one who had this gift the way he had it but me. You know, this calling, this mission to whatever. My space might not look like yours. I'm supposed to reach my gay counterparts, but I have a mission connected to who you are. I wish you could see me. But it took for me to stop living, and that's how God works. See, I just explained to you, I spent 30 years, I'm 31 going on 32. I spent 30 years without it. But it wasn't until that 30th year that I started the process of acceptance of what might not be, for my own clarity, my own peace, that God even moved anything to make it possible. The mission was not for it to just fall in place without me finding the self-work, you know? And for my brothers who have a challenging experience with their sexuality, who in so many aspects they still struggle to accept and find themselves, remember that this is a beautiful journey, and your journey is a blessing. It's more challenging, it's more work involved, but labor is what creates character. It creates wisdom. You know,
can you say that since it's happened, you feel a lot more, even though it's more work and it's more of a journey, you still feel a weight off your shoulder?
I have every awareness, and you know, seasons are seasons. I won't be here in a different season. But I can speak on this season as a testimony in my life that I am in the best season. 31 going on 32 years of life because of it. All the standing in that I did that felt horrible at times for 13 years of my life. But it took me to never fold, to have this moment. My hard-minded, hard-headed dad didn't cave from a nigga who was gonna fold. It's a nigga that's gonna stand up 10 toes down as big as he taught him to. Until you get with it. And if you don't, it might not be getting the invitation to the way.
God damn. Yo, I'm so glad. Please, I'm gonna honor
my fiance or my husband around you, and if you make him uncomfortable, daddy, you taught me to leave my father and mother and cling to my wife. Do you really want to be held against what you taught me?
Period. Oh my God. And you know what? I said this on a previous episode. I don't care about, listen, you can tell you, my mama said, and I will tell you, I don't give a fuck because I didn't marry her and I'm not sleeping with her. I'm really on that for real. So I get what you're saying about, like, this is our household. Nobody outside of here is allowed to disrespect it, because this is the legacy I'm building.
I'm gonna throw something that we often leave out.
Yeah.
Move in love.
Okay.
Move in love.
Elaborate.
Don't move in ego. Don't move in your hurt. Deal with your hurt. Acknowledge your hurt. Validate it. But move in love. Because see,
the only way to get over it is to get through it.
Can only be where they are.
Yeah.
And when you even join them in that, you're internalizing their actions to mean something about you. Move in the love of their ignorance, in the most the dictionary definition way of ignorance.
Right.
They have a lack of awareness, lack of information, lack of knowledge, and you can't expect certain things from people like that.
Okay, actually, I was gonna now, you know how we had that whole moment earlier. I was like, oh, what was I about to say? Blah blah blah. Just by the way, that happens a lot. I'm just keeping it real with you. But I was going to say, that I forgot it. Damn again.
We need to get you a notepad.
Oh, okay. No, I know for a fact. Okay, I know. So,
Right,
basically, based off what you were saying, what I was trying to say earlier was, like, based off me going to the barber shops or me just being around straight people, or just whatever the case may be. About a year or two ago, when all that the baby stuff, whenever the baby stuff started happening, I can't say exactly when, and I was arguing people tooth and nail about being gay. Like, it's okay. Like, it's whatever. You're just like, I was like, I almost lost my Instagram page because it was just so crazy around that time. And then I literally had to tell myself, right when I finally got my page back, I literally said, first off, T.S. Madison said, you cuss them out in their inbox, not in your comments. Other than that, it was for real. But I had to start telling myself, I'm never, and this goes into a lot of situations, not just the LGBT. I'm never going to argue my point with somebody who does not have the emotional intelligence to get it. Although I want to be an advocate, I want to tell people y'all are dead fucking wrong. You need to respect. You need to respect. There are some people who are not wired to have the emotional intelligence to, one, understand, to two, even give a fuck about what you're saying. And I have noticed that I've gotten irate with certain people just trying to get them to understand. So I did have to tell myself, I'm willing to have that conversation. I'm willing to have it if you're willing to have it. But if it's gonna be a thing where it's like, no, I don't believe in that, I'm just not. I'm gonna save my breath because I'm gonna punch you. I'm gonna knock your front two teeth out.
You know something? That's like what you said is so important, and it's so important for all of us to recognize, especially people who want to create a platform for themselves.
I'm sorry it took 30 minutes for it to come out, but that's what I meant to say.
But it's important because a part of this game is everybody has a fucking opinion. Yeah. Okay, everyone has an opinion. There's going to be moments where you might be sharing your most sensitive, vulnerable moment, and then someone says stupid ass shit in a comment that will trigger you. Okay, so what you have to remember is this is not about them. Yep. And you don't give them control over your platform. I've done it, okay? And y'all seen it in comments. If y'all was circa 2018, 19, 20, when I was with T.S. Madison and all that hit, and now you got straight women saying this, and why are you dating a trans woman?
2021 about me. And but if you catch me on the right day, you'll get your ass read in 2022. Don't play. Listen, but I agree.
But what I'm saying is, what you have to recognize is people's opinions don't reflect you. And when you, no matter how in that moment rightful it feels or is for you to write that statement back, you best believe 95% of your audience is going to be offended by you and not them. They're going to question something about your character or who you are that is not accurate, but you're not going to be given the same grace that you will be expected when you say that. So don't just ignore them. If you're going to say anything back, you better write it, proofread it.
Yes.
And ask a friend,
edit it,
and then post it so that you can stand behind that comment. It's not an emotional response.
Hold on. Hey, I got one more. I got two more steps to that because yes, you do post it, and then the second step after posting it is you need to read it again and make sure your ass edit it again so it ain't offensive to everybody. So yes, you gonna post that motherfucker, but you still got to go back and be like,
speak up for yourself. Yeah, but you have to be so delicate and so diplomatic. And how you speak up for yourself. One, because you want to be heard. That goes from family members, cousins, whatever. A straight friend that don't get it. People aren't going to hear you in vitriol.
Yeah.
People hear your calm. You know, people hear you.
Every situation, though, that has nothing to do with just LGBT. That's every situation. You have to go into every situation. And I'm learning that because I am an Aries and I spit vitriol. It just comes spewing out. Like I
don't know if y'all know y'all charts, but for the people who out there with the co-star vibes, y'all astrology majors, I'm a Aries Mars, and that planet rules your aggression. So that makes me a very spicy individual. So I totally Aries energy off as far as how you handle things. But I've truly had to learn it, you know?
I really like you. Hold on. I gotta cut you off for 1 second because I have to say this publicly. Like I've been really like, okay, y'all. So like I was saying earlier, when we get on here and we start calling people friend, sometimes that can be such a shallow title, and it's used very like everybody's friend. Jonathan and Megan started that shit. Megan and Jonathan started calling whatever. But I would just say this for me personally. I just have to say this publicly. I've spent so much time in your inbox trying to get you on this show. Personally, I wish I spent more time in your inbox trying to be your friend, because from this is one of those things where, and I even said this to you before about the advice that you gave me and just whatever we were talking about yesterday. This is one of those things where you look at a person, right? You see them, you see everything you think they have to offer. Oh, they're cute, they're gorgeous, they probably don't got much. They probably don't have a nice bone in their body. They're probably shallow. They're probably this or that. I just personally want to take a second to just thank you for your professionalism, for your ability to be able to answer these questions, for your ability to give me advice that you didn't even have to give me. You know what I'm saying? I really wish that I wish I would have spent more time trying to just be your friend instead of saying, I need you on my show. I need you on my show. I need you on my show. Because you and I don't care to really say this publicly. There's probably been, out of 20 people I've had on my podcast, there's probably been 2 or 3 that I can say were truly genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And for you saying, and I said this to my dude last night before we broke up. I said, he is the only person who has come to me and said, make sure you send me the promo so I can post it, because I want my group to come and mesh with your group. Do you know how many people I've had to beg, hey, can you just post the flyer for 24 hours? It is ridiculous. So I say all that just to say more so thank you, man. And I hope that outside of this, everything that we've gone through seems to be so
Absolutely.
We gonna be friends for real. Outside of fucking Instagram, I'm about to, like, we got each other's number. Yeah, that's about to be a thing. I really like you. I like you. Honestly, I like you. I like him. Y'all like him. I really like him. Sorry, I know there was a lot. I'm super sentimental.
I've been intentional about this because, and this is all connected to coming out, because to be candid, my experience with T.S. Madison was a different beast, right? This is going somewhere.
No, let's do this. Let's do it, because I want to actually, I didn't want to just straight bring her up because I feel like she comes up.
I did Honest Men, and those things garnered me an audience. I now became Winston Corey and this and that, and I was familiar with being a public figure, people being fans, people coming up to me and saying, I really love you. I got familiar with that. But when I merged with her audience, it moved things so fast that what I thought I was used to, I now shifted, so to speak. I became more inward. I started to feel like I had to be a certain way. There was this expectation of this fine dude who's now associated with T.S. Madison, part of the group, and what that looks like, and where I can't be, and how inaccessible I have to be. And it all conflicted with who I truly was. I just told you my story. I'm not the cool I didn't get popular till high school. You know, I was a rejected, questioning, self-doubting human being. And naturally, I was warm, I was loving, I enjoyed being nice to people. That's the kind of person that experience garners. This open, warm, just wants to love.
Are you sure? Are you sure that it wasn't Atlanta that did that to you, that changed it for you?
No, I won't claim Atlanta. I won't claim Atlanta. It's just the magnitude of my awareness of how many people recognize me. Now it's settled for me. But then when I literally got on her show a month after I moved to Atlanta. I had no time to just start to feel like people knew me from Atlanta because of Atlanta. So when I'm going to First Friday for my second time, and 15 of y'all are saying, "Bae, from T.S. Madison," there's this awareness of fuck. Everywhere y'all know me. There's so much expectation of how I should look when you see me, how I should act when you see me, what the hello has to feel like. That when I finally did some self-work over the last year on anxiety, on myself, I'm finally able to show up as my most authentic self. And I encourage everybody who has a gay experience to take
Yeah.
that journey and recognize there's so many things that get filtered in. It might not be a T.S. Madison experience. It could be you were rejected all through high school and now you met gay people and now you in a popular clique and they're telling you how to dress, how to act, to not be friendly to too many people. And you might be a friendly, nice ass person. And you might be needed in this community to be a handsome ass or pretty ass, fine ass, popular ass, nice, genuine person. Because then you show someone else that is you at 17, looking at you and saying,
example,
David, I can be like him. I don't have to be mean or distant or this in order to fit into the cool sector of things. So it's important to be that, to show that, to remember what it felt like to be rejected or bullied and to not be in any gay space and see somebody that they would call a rock and treat them like they're nothing. Even if you see them thinking you're attractive, go over and be like, you having fun? And just smile. You ain't got to give too much of your time, but there's something about the embrace of someone from someone that you looked up to in some way that is
100%.
life-changing beyond what people recognize, or the rejection is life-changing, you know? So we should be living as ourselves, not with the consideration of the expectations around us, and live with the heart.
Where's my... Okay, I think my Bible's in my other living room. Kind of piggyback off last week's episode. Do you now, because you did just say to me, you said I was here a month before I got on her episode. Now, I didn't really get a chance to learn people. I was kind of looking at them for like, y'all know me for this. So even now, you've been in Atlanta for how long?
4 years now.
Okay, so even 4 years into it, is that still something you're having to experience? Oh, are you really in my face because you know who I know? Do you want to date me because you know the connections I have?
No. And not because it disappeared, but because it stopped being my focus.
Okay.
And that's what freed me.
Okay.
My only focus and everyone else's is only to show up as my most authentic self. My only focus is that you don't misperceive me, that you don't think I'm some dumbass, fine ass nigga on Instagram who posts pictures. I am a mental beast. You need to know that. You need to know my heart. You need to know how down to earth I am. You need to know how silly I am. And I don't have to always look cute. I can look goofy. I don't care if the still was an ugly expression I was making. In this season of my life, I commit myself to that. I commit myself to making sure every person gets it. And not by forcing it on them, but by forcing it out of me.
I feel like I'm talking to me right now. I feel like I'm motherfucking talking to me right now. I feel like I'm talking to me right now. Mm-hmm. My friend, you know, popular gay social media culture has, I can't blame them, but it's fucked my self-esteem up completely. And the reason why I say that is because I made the mistake, I do believe, of creating an OnlyFans. Mm-hmm. And the only reason why I say that was a mistake, not because I'm scared of nothing that was out there, because, you know, Big Daddy look good outside these clothes. You better get into it. Yeah, I mean, don't get into it because I deleted it. But one thing that fucked me up so bad mentally was the fact that I was so used to being a person who was a comedian. I was so used to being like a person who was like funny or just get on and just start speaking some real shit. And then when it came to the OnlyFans thing, or then when I got one or two good little pictures, then the pressure of I stopped posting anything on my Instagram, my YouTube, my anything, because I felt like if I don't look a certain type of way, then I can't do anything, because now my OnlyFans audience is the one that I have to cater to because they're the ones spending money. Ain't nobody else spending money. So I gotta cater to this OnlyFans audience. And if I'm not looking, if my hair ain't cut up and if my skin ain't popping, I'm not getting on camera. And in this latest season of my life, I have made it a fucking point. First off, you hardly see me even post pictures anymore because I hardly can. I don't even know how to take pictures no more. But one thing about me is I'm not big on the filters. I'm not big on it. I want you to see me.
You're going to see me, baby.
You got to see me because I'm so... I can't speak for everybody, but I'm a goofy ass nigga. Like, for me, I'm comedian. I feel like maybe I'm cute, but I think to be sexy...
that doesn't represent you.
I think to be sexy, that has to be something in you. And to be sexualized makes me super super, super uncomfortable. And
Mm-hmm.
so like I'm literally at the point where now I'm like, look, just like let me make you laugh if I'm looking ugly in the morning. Like I don't want y'all to look at me and be like, oh, but I don't like that. It's too much
And
pressure.
on the flip side of that, what I refuse, because what I will say is I am a sexy person, not just by physicality. Some people have
I
that.
don't have that.
I have it, but I'm also
The
a
exude,
goofball.
I don't have that.
You
I'm
understand?
goofy.
But I've learned to. I don't care what someone might say could box you into something.
Yeah.
I'm not going to avoid it because of that.
Okay.
I'm going to define myself.
Okay.
Okay. So I can make an album called Fuck and be an intellectual.
Yeah.
And I can have a song about sex, but all my lyrics are so lyrical. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is the way where be exactly who you are. Don't base how you're going to be you based off of how people will perceive it, but make sure that whatever you're doing is not based off of anyone's ideas, because then it's going to be the most authentic. Then it's just going to be the most true. It's not overly
it's too much pressure.
Correct.
When you do it the other way, it's too much pressure. So what you're saying, like I agree. Like when you're doing something that, like, let's just say there are some people who probably at one point they were like, I'm never gonna do an OnlyFans, I'm never gonna do this, I'm never gonna do that, and then it was something that was like, okay, it is what it is. Like some people are okay doing because they feel like makes me happy. This ain't making everybody else happy. I would say for me, I only did what I was doing to garner an audience because I feel like it was making everybody else happy. Every time I would snap a picture, take a video, I would cringe like in my skin. So I know for a fact that world, there's no shame because they made some money. I made some great money, but I just know for a fact that particular world wasn't me. Because my thing is, if your audience tells you what to be and that's authentically you, do it. But if your audience is telling you what to be, and then that's not you, it's gonna look forced, it's gonna look cringy, and it's gonna look bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you definitely have to be authentically you, no matter if it's no matter what even if it's a fucking gimmick, you still have to at some point still be authentically yourself, because it's gonna come back and you're gonna have to backtrack and cover up whatever it is that you fucking lied about in the first. You gotta.
And more importantly, you will not be happy
at all.
There is literally no way to live in peace without being yourself. There's just no way.
There's
too much mental requirement associated with what you need to do or think about in order to be who you expect it to be. That's why I correct you from earlier. I ain't no top. I used to be a top. Even that type of stuff I promote. I'm a verse top. It's more about the principle behind why I'll say that. I'll say that to somebody who's a full bottom.
Yeah.
That I know don't have no interest in it, but it's more about my authenticity and my security within myself. Yeah. Because if it's been two people in my life that I bottom for, I'm not a top as far as how I'm going to promote myself. Unless that is a dead theory in my brain that I'll never revisit, then that's not going to be my answer. My answer is I'm a verse top you can't fuck.
So
deal with that.
So on the other end of that, right? I'm a top completely. I've never been fucked ever. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think that it is very important to also acknowledge, that I'll just say this. I've been told a bunch of times, right? If you are not a verse, if you're not willing to do this, you're not willing to do that, then you're never going to be in a successful relationship. So far, it has been true.
Not so far, it's been true.
So far, it has been true. I've been fighting tooth and nail for this shit. I'm gonna have to give up the goodies or something because
look, if I could, without shifting your state of mind, but just offer some, perspective. Someone, I won't be specific, but someone that I have dated,
okay,
either current or previously, for the sake of anonymity, was a strict top when I met them.
Okay,
and it took time. We were also not in a situation that we were each other's only source of sex, so that wasn't an issue.
Quarantine.
However, they found themselves around the hump of the mountain, and they were very happy that they did. Not on a physical level, explicitly. Yes, that too. They had you gained awarenesses of like, oh, this is what y'all be liking, But there's a certain freedom they might have felt, and ability to express or exist, and it didn't make it something that because they did that with me, that now was a space for them to just go do it. But within the confines of their relationship, there's a certain level of security to express themselves sexually, much different than they would with anybody else.
You know how I was saying earlier, I was like, sometimes my sexual preferences have people question whether or not I'm gay or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the conversation of that, more so because it was more so of a thing like, I have sucked dick before, okay? That has been a thing. I have sucked dick. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I think I had my butt eaten one time. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I think for me, I don't like to. Let's just say this. Let's just say, for instance, for this work, like just for lack of examples, me and you was texting, right? I was texting and I was like, "Ooh, send me something nasty." Had you sent a dick picture, I've been like, "Well, there's nothing for us to talk about." So that's what I'm saying. Like, I do, like, a lot of people really do question my role in the gay community based off I don't like to suck dick. I don't like my ass touched. I don't like to be fucked. I've never been fucked.
You're like men.
So that's what I'm saying. So I agree. So that's my point. That's my point, right? But like even my mama, right? One time when I first came out, me and her were on the phone, and she was telling me something because she was like, you got a cousin who don't be, doing right, and he be smelling around the house sometime, So she was like, make sure that if you're doing this, that you clean yourself out and you douche and you do this because you don't want to be walking around stinking. And I told her, I was like, Mama, you don't even have to worry about that. Like, that's not even something, like, I don't even engage in that part of the gay, like, I'm a whatever. And this honestly, this is another part of the whole black women are sometimes not for us kind of thing, but whatever. But I remember her when I said to her, Mama, I don't do that. Like, I just do I'm not no bottom. I don't do that. She was like, oh, shit, you probably ain't even gay. How you know that? You probably just like to fuck anything. And for me, it's just like, had I told her that, like, oh yeah, I am the bottom, she would have probably still been upset with it.
Yeah.
She would have probably still been upset with it. Because she was questioning herself. She was questioning, like, what did I do? Why is this something I did? Had I told her, yeah, Mom, I get fucked, I douche, she would have probably still been like, even to this day, probably still been like. But the crazy thing about it is, and that also speaks to the hierarchy that's not only in our community, but that's in the other community for our community.
That's why I combat it. That's what my statement was 5 minutes ago. That's the same statement I have to my brothers. Anybody, if you ask, I'm gonna tell you, because whatever you think, you're wrong, and you need to know that it doesn't actually work the way you think it works.
It do over here. When I say no, it means no.
Yeah.
It means no. And I get turned off easy. So yeah, I don't.
I have the same natural process, even with my position changing. I think based in top, always based in top. If you link up with a nigga and he start gripping your ass, guess who dick goes off too? Mine. I've literally had a nigga I vibed with for 3 days over a week, and you keep seeing them. He invites you to the thing on Sunday, and the nigga like, let's go to your house. I was feeling this nigga. We get to my house, we start kissing, and he start not even just touching. I mean, he took a 2 scoop grab of this ass and was on some like, and I was like,
that turns me completely off.
What's your position?
That turns me completely off.
I said, let's just cuddle.
That turns me completely off. I can say that I have had multiple instances where I have been very explicit about, listen, this is what I like. That's what kind of why I say I might be boring or something like that. But I feel like I am great to people who are complete bottoms. Like, if you were just a bottom and you just like to get dominated or whatever, like, I'm the best person for you. But sometimes I start feeling like I'm boring because, like, in some of those situations, it's been like I'm not sucking your dick. I'm not about to bend over and be like, ooh, daddy, you want. That's what? I mean, and then I've been like, for me, if you over dominate me, if you start being too rough with me, I'm done. Like, if you start trying to do this, and then we ain't playing none of those games.
you probably need to operate with people who just live within the same rules. Because you don't want
I
to
will
be
make
violent.
people. If you grab my ass, I will make you get out your own house. You hear me? You get out. You get out.
Yeah, you need straight, don't touch it bottoms so that you don't have no issues.
I'm gonna keep it real. I have honestly been very blessed to have those. But I was saying that, you know, I haven't had successful relationships based off of that. I was joking. I'm just a nutcase. I'm an Aries. So, you know, whatever.